What is a change? A change is a variation of a quantity of interest with respect to another quantity, such as time or space. However, the measurement of change depends on the reference frame or the angle of view. So if the angle changes, the perception of change also changes. In other words, change is relative. What to change? In this talk, mainly I will focus on internal changes of an individual. I think the change of an individual is more important than the change of an organization or a society, because any organization or society is nothing but a bunch of individuals. So the change of the society or the organization cannot happen without the change of the individual. Your internal changes can only be testified by you. Suppose you meet an old friend after a decade and he or she tells you, hey, you have not changed in last 10 years. Well, that may be true externally, but internally you need to ask yourself, am I more satisfied or less? Am I more happy or more depressed? Then you can judge whether you have gone through or you are going through a positive or negative change. Why to change? At some point, one may think, I have achieved enough positive change in my life. I do not need any more progress, and let me be steady at my current level. The problem is your surroundings as well as your mind would not let you remain steady. They are like gravity. If you want to rise up, then you need an upward force. But even if you want to stand still you need an upward reaction force to cancel the effect of gravity. And in absence of any upward force, the default is free fall. Not only in the context of gravity, even heat by itself flows from high temperature to low temperature. Air flows from high pressure to low pressure. Similarly, in life, we always have the free fall without any effort. So, we all have free fall into negativity from high to low in terms of motivation, performance, success, happiness, and peace of mind, unless we have the continuous effort. How to change? In order to change, we all need some instruments of change. Now, what could be a potential instrument? Actually, anything. First, let's look into some historical examples. The Kalinga War is one of the bloodiest war in history. It is said that more than 250,000 people were killed in the war, and after it was over, the Daya river at Bhubaneswar by the side of the battlefield turned complete red. When King Ashoka had seen the bloodshed, he felt a deep remorse and he pledged to become a promoter of non-violence and peace throughout the rest of his life. Another example prior to Ashoka was that of Gautama Buddha. When he was young, some holy man prophesied that either he will become a great king or a great spiritual leader. Of course, his father Shuddhodhan wanted him to become a great king. So he made sure that Gautama Buddha remained confined under the pleasures and opulences of royal palace, and he is not exposed to the worldly misery or any religious preaching. Now, Buddha remained so until the age of 29, when he came out of the walls of the palace for the first time. Then he encountered an old man. He asked his charioteer, "What is this?" because he had never seen an old man in his life. The charioteer Channa explained that it is old age. Buddha asked, would that happen to me as well? Channa replied, yes, nobody can escape old age. Later, Buddha encountered a diseased man and a dying people. That time he realized that none, including himself, can avoid old age, disease and death. Finally, he met an happy ascetic who was undisturbed by these worldly miseries. And by that sight, he realized that the real purpose of human existence is to achieve this undisturbed state. Now, let me give a personal example. I was an extreme atheist. To me, meaning of science was opposition of spirituality or denying the existence of God. Later on, when I studied advanced mathematical logic, when I dived deep into what is meant to be a proof, how a logical system works, then I realized that there is no difference between the spiritual concept and the mathematical concept. Either you accept both or you reject both. So this is not the theme of the talk. However, my point was how taking an advanced postgraduate level course brought a radical change in my thought process. So basically, anything can be an instrument of change. Instruments, however, are not enough to bring a change. The object on which the instrument works is also important. That object should be suitable. For example, if you want to nail and hammer, then you need at most a concrete wall and not a solid pillar made of steel. So, in order to change, our mind needs to be flexible. It must keep its windows open. The example we discussed were special and the instruments were special as well. However, we cannot expect each one of us to be at the level of Ashoka or Buddha. So practically, if we want to bring about slow but steady but systematic, achievable change in our life, then we need what are called the ABCDs of change. A for association, B for books, C for chanting, and D for diet. Let's first discuss A for association. We need association of the right people who have been through changes themselves and who are bringing changes in others' life. We experience it every day. If the association is positive, it can lift us up. If it is negative, then it can pull us down. Falling into the intoxication of smoking or drugs in school or colleges happen due to the influence of a particular peer group. On the other hand, a good social activity also begins with the association of like-minded people. A strong example of the power of association in history is that of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in Bengal around 530 years ago and initiated the Bhakti movement or the movement of love. Whoever came in contact with him, the saint or the sinner, the king or the beggar, the Hindu or the Muslim, the pure or the impure, the prostitute or the street walker, all were transformed visibly. That is why his unique contributions to the world has been recognized prominently in world history. Next is B for books. Reading books of knowledge can bring a revolutionary change as well. Consider the example of the Polish-Jewish educator, children's author, and pediatrician Henryk Goldsmith, whose pen name was Korczak. He was running an orphanage of around 200 people in Warsaw during Second World War. Terrors of Nazi concentration camps were looming large in the air, and everybody, be it kids or old men, they were frightened. However, Korczak got tremendous inspiration from Rabindranath Thakur's play Dagghar, the post office. and made the children of the orphanage enact the play. The story taught them how to overcome the fear of death and how not to die every moment before the actual death. On 5th August 1942, when the German soldiers came to collect the orphans to transport them to Treblinka extermination camp, the soldiers could not frighten the children anymore. They were dressed in their best clothes and they marched happily towards the gas chamber to meet death undaunted. The next instrument is C, or chanting. Chanting or meditation prepares the mind for a positive change. Valmiki was a dangerous robber, but simply chanting the name of God, he was transformed to a great sage. And this is true in any religion, whether it is namaz of Islam or Gregorian chanting of the Bible or Vedic hymns. Chanting or meditation is like rubbing a magnet on an iron rod. It activates and aligns the chakras to bring positive changes in your life and your surroundings. Nowadays, even mainstream science is also recognizing the positive powers of chanting or meditation. There was a conference at Harvard Medical School in April 2015 about healing and therapeutic effects of chanting and meditation on heart attacks, brain strokes, insomnia, Alzheimer's disease, chronic pain, etc. An MRI study in Massachusetts General Hospital showed that 8 weeks of meditation can rebuild brain's gray matter. The last but not the least is D for diet. What you eat makes up your mood. A diet in harmony with nature makes you amenable to change and makes you powerful to bring changes as well. Tihar Jail introduced Sattvic yogic diet in 1994, and since then it has created a history in changing the lives of the prisoners. Earlier I mentioned that it is easy for us to fall down than to go up. However, if one is trained with the above ABCDs from early childhood, then for that individual, negativity may not exist at all. He or she can learn the art of converting negativity into positivity continuously. Thus, these instruments are not only capable to make us objects of change, if properly used, they can make us live instruments of change, enabling us to bring changes in others' lives as well. Thank you.